Alright, welcome to another review for the Sega Saturn. Today we're going to be doing Hard Trilogy. My wife and I have really enjoyed this game because it's really fun and really hilarious, actually. When you get to this screen right here where it says Die Hard, the copyright screen, you need to type in C-A-B-B-Y, C-A-B-B-Y as fast as you can. And that should give you the cheats you need, because unfortunately this game does not save your progress. So if you want to experience the whole game, you're going to have to use the cheat code. Or if you just have a lot of time on your hands and you're willing to play through everything. So Die Hard Trilogy. This is supposed to be based off of Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, and Die Hard 3. We're going to start off first with... It's 3 games in one. We've got the original Die Hard, Die Harder, and then Die Hard with a Vengeance. We're going to start with the first one, which is just a plain action game. This is probably one of my favorite ones of the 3. One of the things that immediately strikes me about this game is just the nostalgia of it. If you're a Die Hard fan from the 90s, this is very much a 90s looking game. Definitely not a graphical something graphically. It's definitely not something to brag about. That's for sure. It's extremely violent for a early 90s game. Which is a good thing, bad thing, depending on how much violence bothers you. You can turn down the blood in this game if you think it's just too graphic. I don't see how you would have a problem with graphic violence in this game, considering how fake everything looks. It looks more like strawberry jellies coming out of their faces rather than blood. But some parents might have problems with the fact that it's supposed to represent blood. Another thing that immediately stands out about this game is just the voice acting is hilarious.
Don't let him get away. Get him! Help me! Get the hell out of here! Great!
I think it's super cool that they actually have the voice acting from the movie in here. Like Bruce Willis's voice is in here.
Best Christmas bonus I ever got.
The objective in the first Die Hard game of the trilogy is to rescue the hostages. One of the things that makes this game really a good action game is just the variety of... first-person shooters on the console in general just sucked before GoldenEye. They just really were not very good. The controls for this game are actually surprisingly good for it being a Fox Interactive game, which I don't know what other games Fox has done. I think Independence Day was one of them. Other than that, I don't really know. But you really wouldn't think of a mainstream company like Fox making something worth playing. But this is definitely a game I would say is worth your time. The levels do get increasingly harder as there's more enemies and more closed hallways. It's harder to find the hostages. The game is very hard, so if you don't have cheats enabled, you probably are going to get frustrated. So I am definitely grateful that Fox Interactive put some cheat code in there. With the cheats, you can have immortality or level selection. The destructive environments is definitely a plus in this game. The fact that you can blow up a window and then walk through it is kind of ahead of its time, as a lot of first-person shooters don't even do that. So the next game to come with this package is Die Harder, which is the second movie and it's the second game in this trilogy. As you remember, it's based in an airport. This one is a arcade light shooting game. If you don't have a stun gun, there is an option to play this game with the controller, but I don't recommend it at all. You won't get very far, that's for sure. This game is actually a whole lot of fun, however, it does... I've never been able to play this game all the way through, even though I've played a lot of the levels in it using the cheat code. Two reasons. One, the game's very hard. The second reason is, as fun as it is, it's very much a novelty to play a light gun game in your living room, but after 30 minutes of shooting at the TV screen, the novelty does eventually wear off. And also, some of the levels later in the game just get plain ugly. The quality of the level designs tend to go down, and that kind of hurts it overall, in my opinion. Another thing that's extremely ridiculous in this game is probably the last level. There's a lot of things in this game that are very far-fetched that make it super entertaining, but in level 8 you're actually supposed to be flying in a helicopter and you're trying to protect a 747, trying to allow it to land safely. This is the plane interception. One of the things that's really strange about this particular level is that even though you're in the sky and you're shooting at other helicopters, these terrorists will actually jump out of the helicopters and land on top of this airplane and shoot at you, which is really, really strange. I think the entering your score is absolutely hilarious in this game, as you can walk around and you have hostages here and you simply run up to them and press A in order to choose what they are. I have no idea why they made it in this game that when you're spelling your initials, that the characters cry out like they're being killed. I'm not sure why they did that, but it's kind of funny. And then we'll just get a flame guy on here. I'm not sure why the T is on fire, but it is. And then you press start and they all run away. So it's pretty entertaining. Right, so the final game on here is Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's actually a crazy taxi type game. Your goal in this game is to drive around a taxi cab and find where the bombs are hidden throughout the city and disable those bombs by basically running over them. So I don't know how running over the bomb and blowing it up is supposed to be saving the city, considering that when the bomb detonates it destroys the whole city. This one is the hardest out of the 3 games, as well as it, in my opinion, is the least fun. The controls for the most part are pretty responsive. Despite the fact the game is extremely hard, the controls do work very well with the game. Again, this game is the only mature rated game I have for the Sega Saturn, and there is definitely a lot of gore in it. It is fake gore though, so I don't feel too guilty. Although running over a massive amount of people in order to stop a bomb doesn't exactly feel very heroic. I'm pretty sure John McClane would not drive over 13,000 Chinese people in order to stop one bomb. Besides the fact that you can jump up in the air and launch an attack on a helicopter, I have no idea what that launch button is supposed to be, but it's pretty awesome. So out of those 3 games, it definitely goes in the order of my favorites. So the first one, Die Hard, and then Die Hard 2, the light gun, and then the crazy taxi weird Die Hard with a Vengeance game. As a package, they're fantastic. Individually, they're nothing to really brag about except for maybe the first one. But as a package, it's really a good game. So if you can find this for a reasonable price, I highly recommend it for your Sega Saturn. Thanks for watching.